the burden you carry was not placed on you by accident. Every ounce of pressure, every quiet struggle, every delay is intentional. God is shaping you beneath the surface, and what feels heavy now is preparing you for authority, purpose, and power you cannot yet see. Pressure is not evidence that something has gone wrong. It is not a sign that you are being punished, overlooked, or pushed beyond what you can endure. Pressure is often the clearest indication that preparation is taking place. When God is shaping something meaningful, He allows resistance, weight, and intensity to form strength that cannot be developed in ease. What you're experiencing is not random hardship. It is a process designed to prepare you for what you are meant to carry, steward, and sustain. Many people associate pressure with failure or misalignment, but in reality, pressure reveals where growth is happening. Nothing valuable is formed without it. Seeds break under pressure before they grow. Muscles strengthen only when resistance is applied. Character deepens when circumstances demand endurance. In the same way, spiritual pressure refines faith, sharpens discernment, and solidifies identity. What feels uncomfortable now is producing stability that comfort never could. Pressure exposes the difference between surface belief and anchored trust. When life is manageable, faith can remain passive. When pressure increases, faith becomes active. You begin to rely not on what you can control, but on what you believe. This is where preparation becomes internal rather than external. God is not just preparing outcomes or circumstances. He is preparing you. The strength you are gaining is not meant only for this season, but for seasons that require clarity, courage, and composure under weight. It is important to understand that pressure is measured. God does not overwhelm without intention. The intensity you feel has boundaries, even when you cannot see them. What you are facing has been allowed because it serves a purpose in shaping your capacity. You are learning to stand steady under weight rather than collapse under uncertainty. This is not about proving resilience. It is about developing endurance that can carry responsibility without compromise. Pressure also has a way of revealing what is unnecessary. When life tightens, distractions lose their power. False priorities fall away. You become more aware of what truly matters. This is not loss. It is refinement. Preparation often requires subtraction before expansion. God removes what cannot survive pressure so that what remains is strong, focused, and aligned. The discomfort of this pruning can feel like punishment, but its intention is freedom and clarity. There are moments when pressure feels isolating. Others may not understand what you are carrying or why your journey looks different, but preparation is often private before it becomes visible. God does His deepest work away from crowds and recognition. The pressure you feel is shaping depth, not display. It is forming maturity that will one day support influence without ego and authority without arrogance. Pressure also develops discernment. When you are stretched, you become more attentive. You listen more carefully, respond more intentionally, and move with greater wisdom. You begin to recognize what aligns with your purpose and what distracts from it. This awareness is part of preparation. God is teaching you how to navigate complexity with clarity, how to remain grounded when situations are demanding, and how to maintain peace even when outcomes are uncertain. It is natural to want pressure to end quickly. Relief feels like resolution, but preparation is not rushed. The process continues until what needs to be formed is stable. Ending pressure too early would leave gaps in strength and understanding. What God is doing in you must be complete enough to sustain what He will place before you. This is not delay, it is careful construction. One day, you will recognize how this pressure positioned you. You will see how it trained your patience, strengthened your trust, and deepened your faith. Situations that once felt overwhelming will no longer shake you because you have been prepared to stand firm. The confidence you carry will not come from success, but from the knowledge that you have been refined under weight and did not break. Pressure does not define you by what it takes from you. It reveals who you are becoming. It is shaping stability, humility, and courage within you. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The weight you feel is not meant to crush you, but to form you into someone capable of carrying what is next with wisdom and grace. Remain steady in this season. Trust that what feels intense is intentional. The pressure will not last forever, but what it produces will. You are being prepared for responsibility, for clarity, and for purpose that requires depth. When this season passes, you will not simply be relieved. You will be ready. The burden you are carrying did not arrive by accident. It was not a random outcome of poor timing, bad luck, or human failure. It was assigned with intention, measured with precision, and entrusted to you because God knew you could carry it. There are weights placed on a life that are not meant to crush, but to shape. What feels heavy now is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is evidence that something significant is being formed within you, something that requires strength, endurance, and depth that only a burden like this could develop. Many people assume that burdens are punishments or indicators of distance from God. But often, the opposite is true. Burdens are given to those who are close enough to God to be trusted with responsibility. You are not handed this weight because you were weak. You were entrusted with it because you were capable of growth through it. God assigns burdens in the same way a teacher assigns advanced material to a prepared student. The challenge is not meant to break you. It is meant to stretch you beyond who you have been and into who you are becoming. There are seasons when life feels disproportionately heavy, when others seem to move freely while you carry something unseen and unspoken. This can lead to isolation, misunderstanding, and quiet exhaustion. But this weight is not meant to be understood by everyone. Some assignments are private because they are sacred. God often works in silence, shaping character and refining identity where applause cannot reach. What you are carrying now is forming discernment, humility, and spiritual authority that cannot be learned in comfort. The burden reveals what comfort cannot. It exposes areas of dependence, strips away false security, and forces you to confront what you truly believe. When things are easy, faith can remain theoretical. When the burden presses in, faith becomes lived. You learn to trust, not because it feels good, but because it is necessary. In this way, the burden becomes a teacher. It instructs you in patience, resilience, and surrender. It teaches you to listen more closely, to pray more honestly, and to rely more deeply on God rather than on your own strength. It is important to understand that an assigned burden always comes with provision. God does not give weight without also giving grace. The strength you need is being supplied day by day, often in ways you do not recognize until later. You may look back and realize that moments you thought you would not survive were carried by a strength that was not your own. That is not coincidence. That is grace operating quietly, sustaining you while the work is being done within you. This burden is also shaping your future capacity. What you are learning now will become the foundation for what you are called to do later. The compassion you are developing, the wisdom you are gaining, and the endurance you are building will one day allow you to stand in places of influence with humility and clarity. God often assigns burdens to prepare people for leadership, not position, but responsibility. The weight you carry now is training you to handle greater impact without losing your integrity or your dependence on Him. There is also a refining element to this burden. It is separating what matters from what does not. Distractions lose their appeal when the weight is real. Superficial desires fade when you are focused on survival, meaning, and obedience. In this way, the burden simplifies your life. It strips away excess and reveals what is essential. You begin to understand what is worth your energy, your time, and your heart. This clarity is not accidental. It is part of the assignment. You may not have chosen this burden, but it chose you because it aligns with your calling. Not everyone could carry what you are carrying without being hardened or broken. The fact that you are still standing, still seeking, and still believing is evidence that the burden is doing its work. You are being formed, not forgotten. You are being prepared, not punished. The assignment is shaping a depth in you that comfort never could. One day, this weight will make sense. The clarity may not come immediately, but it will come. You will see how every moment of pressure refined your character and strengthened your faith. You will recognize that what felt like delay was actually development. What felt like loss was alignment. And what felt like an unbearable burden was actually a carefully measured assignment meant to prepare you for what is ahead. Until that day, do not despise the weight. Do not rush the process. Carry it with honesty, humility, and trust. You are not alone in this. God is present in the burden, working quietly, intentionally, and faithfully. What has been assigned to you will not destroy you. It will define you, refine you, and ultimately position you to walk fully in the purpose that has been prepared for you. Isolation is often misunderstood. It is commonly seen as rejection, abandonment, or evidence that something has gone wrong. But in many seasons of life, isolation is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of responsibility. When God entrusts someone with depth, influence, or stewardship, He often allows space between them and others so that clarity, discipline, and discernment can be formed. Isolation is not about being cut off. It is about being set apart for preparation that cannot happen in constant noise or distraction. Responsibility requires focus, and focus requires space. When your calling begins to carry weight, the environment around you must change. God reduces external voices so that His voice becomes clearer. This can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are accustomed to connection, affirmation, or shared experience. But isolation is not removal for the sake of loneliness. It is positioning for alignment. The separation you feel is making room for maturity that cannot be developed in crowds. Many people want influence without understanding the cost of responsibility. They desire impact, leadership, or spiritual authority, without realizing that these things require inner stability. Isolation provides the environment where that stability is built. In quiet seasons, motives are examined, character is refined, and dependence on God is strengthened. Without isolation, responsibility becomes overwhelming. With isolation, responsibility becomes sustainable. Isolation also reveals where identity has been misplaced. When people are removed, applause fades, and external validation quiets. You are left with yourself and God. This can be confronting. It exposes insecurities, fears, and false identities that were once masked by activity or relationships. But this exposure is not meant to harm you. It is meant to heal you. Responsibility requires a rooted identity, not one shaped by constant affirmation or comparison. There is also protection in isolation. When responsibility increases, vulnerability increases as well. Not everyone can understand or support the weight you are carrying. God often creates distance to shield you from misunderstanding, distraction, or premature exposure. What you are becoming needs time to form without interference. Isolation guards the work that is happening beneath the surface until it is ready to be revealed. Isolation teaches self-governance. When external accountability is limited, internal discipline must develop. You learn to manage your thoughts, your time, and your emotions with greater intention. Responsibility cannot rely on supervision. It requires self-leadership. The quiet moments you're experiencing are training you to remain steady without constant reinforcement. This strength will serve you in future seasons, where decisions must be made with wisdom and independence. It is important to understand that isolation is seasonal. It is not meant to be permanent withdrawal from life or community. It is a phase of preparation. God isolates before He integrates. He separates before He sends. Many biblical figures experienced isolation before stepping into responsibility that impacted others. This pattern is intentional. It ensures that when influence comes, it does not distort identity or compromise purpose. Isolation also deepens empathy. When you have sat alone with your thoughts, wrestled with doubt, and learned to trust God in silence, you develop compassion for others who are struggling. Responsibility is not just about authority. It is about care. The solitude you experience now is shaping your ability to lead, support, and serve with understanding rather than judgment. The loneliness you feel is not proof that you are unloved. It is proof that you are being prepared for something that requires strength and clarity. Isolation is forming discernment, patience, and resilience. These qualities are essential for handling responsibility without becoming hardened or overwhelmed. You are learning to listen more deeply, to move more intentionally, and to respond rather than react. There will come a time when isolation gives way to connection, when preparation turns into participation. When that moment arrives, you will notice a difference in yourself. You will be more grounded, less reactive, and more aware of your purpose. Relationships will feel different because you are different. You will no longer need constant proximity to feel secure. You will carry stability with you. Do not rush out of isolation or interpret it as failure. Allow it to do its work. Responsibility is being formed quietly within you. What you are learning now will support you later when demands increase and decisions carry greater weight. Isolation is not the absence of God or people. It is the presence of preparation. You are not being pushed aside. You are being set in position for what comes next. God does not entrust weight carelessly. He does not place responsibility, pressure, or purpose on what cannot endure it. When something carries weight, it is because it has been measured, tested, and found capable of bearing what is required. In the same way, the weight you are carrying now is not accidental. It is not excessive, and it is not a mistake. It has been entrusted to you because there is strength within you that can endure it, even if you are still discovering that strength yourself. Many people believe that weight is assigned randomly or unfairly, but divine entrustment follows discernment. God sees capacity before it is visible. He recognizes endurance before it is proven. Often, what feels overwhelming is actually revealing hidden strength that has not yet been exercised. The presence of weight in your life is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of potential being activated through resistance. Endurance is not built in ease. It is developed through sustained pressure over time. God allows weight to rest on your life because He knows it will not crush you. Instead, it will strengthen the internal framework of your faith, your character, and your identity. Just as structures are reinforced to support heavy loads, your inner life is being fortified to support responsibility that requires stability and integrity. This work is quiet, but it is essential. Weight also clarifies purpose. When responsibility increases, distractions lose their power. You become more aware of what matters and what does not. God entrusts weight to refine focus. The pressure you feel is aligning your priorities with your calling. This is not restriction. It is direction. Weight narrows your attention so that your energy is invested where it counts, not scattered across what is unnecessary. It is important to understand that God does not entrust weight to impress others. He entrusts it to prepare you. Endurance is not about how much you can carry visibly. It is about how well you remain grounded when carrying unseen responsibilities. The most meaningful weight is often invisible to others. It is carried in the heart, in decisions, and in the quiet discipline of obedience. God values endurance over appearance because endurance sustains purpose over time. Weight also develops humility. When you are entrusted with responsibility, you quickly realize your dependence on God. Self-sufficiency fades under pressure. You learn that strength is not about control but about reliance. This awareness keeps endurance from becoming arrogance. It reminds you that capacity is sustained by grace, not by personal effort alone. God entrusts weight to those who will remain dependent, not those who will claim credit. There are moments when endurance feels stretched thin. These moments are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that growth is occurring at a deeper level. God allows you to feel the weight so that endurance becomes internal rather than performative. You are learning to remain steady when outcomes are uncertain, when recognition is absent, and when progress feels slow. This kind of endurance cannot be taught. It must be formed through experience. Weight also prepares you for stewardship. What you are enduring now is shaping your ability to handle influence, resources, or responsibility later. God entrusts weight incrementally. He builds capacity layer by layer. The endurance you are developing is cumulative. Each season adds strength to what has already been formed. Nothing is wasted. Every moment of pressure is contributing to your ability to sustain what is coming without compromise. It is natural to question why you are carrying so much while others seem unburdened. But endurance is personal. God assigns weight according to purpose, not comparison. What you are enduring aligns with where you are being led. Others may not carry the same weight because they are not being prepared for the same responsibility. This is not inequality. It is precision. One day, you will recognize that the weight did not define you by how much it demanded, but by how it strengthened you. You will see that endurance was formed long before opportunity arrived. When responsibility expands, you will not be shaken because you have already learned how to remain steady under pressure. What once felt heavy will feel manageable because capacity has been built within you. Trust the process of God does not place weight on what cannot endure it. The fact that you are still standing, still believing, and still moving forward is evidence that endurance is being formed. You are not being tested to see if you will fail. You are being entrusted because you can endure, and what you are enduring now is preparing you to carry what is next with strength, humility, and clarity. This season you are in is not random, and it is not temporary filler between more meaningful moments. It is actively shaping who you are becoming. Long before purpose is expressed through action, it is formed through identity. What you are experiencing now is working beneath the surface, refining your inner life, your perspective, and your sense of self. God is not merely preparing circumstances around you. He is preparing you, shaping your identity so that when purpose unfolds, you will be able to carry it with integrity and endurance. Identity is not formed in moments of visibility. It is shaped in seasons of obscurity, waiting, and quiet resistance. When there is no applause and no clear outcome, you are forced to confront who you are without external reinforcement. This is where true identity takes root. You learn what you believe, what you value, and where your trust truly lies. These internal anchors matter more than any skill or opportunity because they determine how you will respond when purpose demands responsibility. The tension you feel in this season is part of the shaping. Discomfort signals growth. God often allows uncertainty, delay, or a limitation to challenge false identities that were built on performance, comparison, or approval. When those supports are removed, what remains is more honest and more durable. This process can feel unsettling, but it is necessary. Purpose requires a stable identity that does not shift under pressure or success. What is being formed now will determine how you handle influence later. This season is also teaching you how to respond rather than react. When outcomes are unclear, you learn patience. When progress is slow, you learn perseverance. When answers are delayed, you learn trust. These responses become part of your identity. They shape how you think, how you decide, and how you engage with the world. Purpose is not only about what you do, it is about how you do it. The character you develop now will guide your actions in every future season. There is a quiet strengthening happening within you. You may not feel powerful or confident, but resilience is being built through consistency and faithfulness. Identity is formed through repeated choices made in ordinary moments. Each time you choose integrity over convenience, faith over fear, and patience over frustration, your inner framework becomes stronger. This strength will support your purpose long after this season has passed. This season is also clarifying your motivations. When rewards are distant and recognition is absent, you discover why you pursue what you pursue. Purpose rooted in external validation cannot endure. God is refining your motives so that when purpose becomes visible, it remains sustainable. You are learning to value alignment over advancement, obedience over outcome, and depth over display. These values will shape how you carry responsibility and influence. You may feel as though life has slowed down or narrowed, but this is intentional. Focus is being refined. Distractions are losing their appeal because your attention is being directed inward. This inward work is not a delay. It is preparation. God is aligning your desires with your calling so that when opportunities arise, you recognize them with clarity rather than confusion. This season is also forming discernment. You are learning to listen more carefully, to wait before acting, and to consider long-term impact rather than immediate relief. Discernment becomes part of identity. It allows you to navigate complex situations without losing direction. Purpose requires wisdom, not impulse. The stillness you experience now is sharpening your ability to perceive what truly matters. One day, this season will make sense in ways it cannot. Right now, you will see how each moment of waiting, each challenge, and each quiet decision contributed to who you became. Purpose will not feel foreign when it arrives, because your identity will already be aligned with it. You will step into responsibility with confidence that does not depend on circumstance, because it was formed long before opportunity appeared. Do not underestimate the importance of this season. It is not a pause in your life. It is a formative chapter. What is being shaped within you will determine how you live out your purpose in the future. Trust the process, remain steady, and allow the work to continue. This season is shaping your identity, and that identity will sustain your purpose when the time comes. Stand firm in this truth. The weight you bear is proof of trust. You are chosen, refined, preserved, and aligned. God is active in the silence, forming you for the calling that cannot be rushed. Declare it. I am entrusted. I am strengthened. Am preparé. What I carry now is the foundation for what I will carry tomorrow.